Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up today, live reports from Olympia as girls defend women's sports, and Zach is down in California for the big game. But before we get to any of that, time for your daily dose of adrenaline.
You want me to stick this into my heart? Are you f***ing nuts?
The Washington State Democrats have unveiled their income tax, and let me be very, very clear about this thing. They call it a millionaire's tax. Anybody who calls it a millionaire's tax wants it. Anybody who calls it an income tax understands it, because that's exactly what this thing is. They are putting a tax on the millionaires because they think it will poll better. But what it is doing is opening up the door to a tax on all of us, just like they did with capital gains, just like they always do. So what exactly is in this proposal? Senate Bill 6346, and remember to call 1-800-562-6000. That's 1-800-562-6000. And say no to Senate Bill 6346. Say no to the income tax. Was brought by Senate Majority Leader Jamie Peterson, who thinks that 13-year-old girls should decide what happens to their own bodies in terms of pregnancy and such. Also can't tell you what a girl is, can't tell you what a boy is being called the millionaire's tax as a 9.9% tax on income over $1 million. Now, what they're going to do with this is redistribute it. So what they're going to say is, we're going to give tax reliefs to businesses and people who don't make as much money. Yeah, there's a few problems with that. Shall we break it down for a second? Number one, I have spoken to real estate brokers. They told me that their wealthy clients are all calling them to put their homes on the market, fearing this thing is going to go, which means as soon as they leave, everybody else's taxes are going to go up because there's going to be a bigger hole in the budget. How do I know this? Because I went to business school. How do I know this without going to business school? Very, very easy. What happened when Seattle did their head tax on employees? The businesses said, you do this, and we're out of here. And guess what they did? They all started moving to Bellevue. Have you driven through downtown Seattle recently? There are far less people. Well, now they want to put a payroll tax on everybody, and they want to put the millionaire's tax on everybody's bosses. If the bosses move out of state and take the companies with them, that means more people get laid off, but they also take their wealth with them. And that means less money for the taxes overall. Because those millionaires not only employ people who have barbers and have grocers and have mechanics and have all these stores they shop at and pay sales tax and anything else, they may lose their jobs, so they're not paying for that stuff anymore, or they may move with the company. But also the millionaire, whatever they're paying for taxes on new cars or whatever else it is, they are not paying it anymore because they have left. I'm actually worried about their houses not selling, because what millionaire would be crazy enough to come here if you're going to tax their wealth? All these rumors about the Seahawks being for sale, are they, aren't they? It's like Ross and Rachel and Friends. Will they, won't they? All these stories about the Seahawks being for sale, why do you think they're even considering this? Not just it's in the will, and we know that Paul Allen wanted the proceeds going to charity, and we know that Jody Allen was supposed to sell the team, and of course sell at the top of the market when your team just won a Super Bowl, when they're the most valuable, and they could have a $6.4 billion valuation. But also, it's what's in this tax? The jock tax. And the jock tax is, well, if you're playing for one day in Seattle, technically you were working in Seattle, so we have to tax you accordingly, you really rich superstar. So, are they going to move the Seahawks because of this? Because a whole bunch of teams, including businesses, said to the Washington State Legislature last year, if you pass all these taxes, we will move. The Mariners were on that list, and they're building a sports stadium in Portland. They're building a baseball stadium down there. Do you think we might lose the Seahawks? Do you think we might lose the Mariners? Do you think we might lose Microsoft? Do you think we might lose Amazon? Just in the past few days, we know that our region has been hit with thousands of job losses because of Amazon, Microsoft, T-Mobile, Zillow, even some hospitals. You want to tell me the hospital layoffs are because of AI? AI is a convenient excuse for the layoffs. But here's the thing about AI. For anybody who's used AI, it's not there yet. You can't say to the AI, hey, go build me a Microsoft computer and it'll do it. No, somebody needs to engineer it. Somebody needs to tell it what to do. Does it make menial tasks easier? Yes, but a lot of the layoffs with Amazon come from the stores that they're closing. A lot of the layoffs happen during down economic times when they say, hey, this is a great opportunity to trim the fat. But also, a lot of these companies are hiring in other places, just not here. Why do you think that is? In addition to that, Democrats have put an emergency provision on this thing. What does that mean? You can't do a referendum against it. You got to do an initiative, which needs a lot more signatures and is a lot harder. They know that. It's such an emergency that this thing doesn't even kick in until 2029. So if they tell you it solves our budget crisis now, they are lying to you. Why do they do all this? Because they just want to open the door to take your money. That's what they want. That's what they've always wanted. And Jamie Peterson, who said, oh, it was just a pie crust promise. That they weren't actually, well, we didn't mean it that we weren't going to impose taxes. It's pie crust, like Mary Poppins. It's a pie crust promise. So you're a liar. You're an admitted liar. Aren't you a Boy Scout leader? What happened to Scout's honor? You are a liar. An absolute liar. Bob Ferguson, last year, says, I don't think we're going to be able to tax our way out of this. And you know what? I don't support taxes. We need to cut. We need to be more fiscally responsible. Bobo, you signed the budget last year. You are now in charge of it for this year. And now he's saying, well, I don't know if this tax is up to my standards because he's trying to save a little face. I don't know if we're quite there yet. Last year, he said the same thing, then signed the largest tax increase in Washington state history. What do you think is going to happen now? What do you think is going to happen right now? Yeah, he's going to say, well, we tried and we were fiscally responsible and we tried and we really tried to cut wherever we could. And we all have to sacrifice, including those millionaires and billionaires. We all have to sacrifice. He's going to say something like that and sign the thing. If the budget is a crisis now, why does this thing not kick in until 2029? It's going to have lawsuits, and there's going to be initiatives against it, and everybody's going to try and stop this thing. But they wouldn't have gone forward with this if they didn't think they would have the support from the Supreme Court and elsewhere. I wonder if we're seeing these resignations on the state Supreme Court right now because they don't want to be tagged with this. Or is it just, hey, you know what, we'll get somebody who will go along with this down the road. Either way, this is what you get with one-party rule. This is not a millionaire tax. This is an income tax. Now, to be clear, is it illegal? Yes, but not for the reason you think. You are allowed to have an income tax here in Washington as long as it is equal on everybody according to the state constitution. According to the state constitution. So saying it's a millionaire tax, you are literally saying we are doing something unconstitutional. Screw you, voters. We know the Washington State Supreme Court is going to back what we are doing. Just a pie crust promise. Didn't we already have an initiative? How many times have we voted to say no income tax and the Democrats are doing it anyway? Why? Because they don't want to cut trans surgeries for convicted felons. Because they don't want to cut self-service stations for men who claim it's an art gallery. Because they want to give out abortion pills to college kids. Because they want to spend on whatever dumb thing they want to spend on. Do you know where 5% of this income tax is going to? Public defenders. Once again, Democrats not supporting police, but instead supporting the criminals. Now, mind you, everybody's entitled to a defense, but these are really bad optics when a lot of businesses are closing and leaving because of crime. Now, you're going to make some of this money go to them. The rest of it's just going to go to the general budget. Great, wonderful, fantastic, because you guys have been such amazing stewards of the general budget so far. On top of this, you're not getting rid of any waste. You're not getting rid of any fraud. You're not getting rid of any abuse at all. How do I know? Your own auditor says so. We all know this. A state audit of the Commerce Department found that they failed at nearly every single stage of grant oversight while administering the now defunct Digital Navigator program, mishandling tens of millions of dollars in public funds and leaving auditors unable to verify whether work was actually performed. This program was supposed to be about digital equity, which means getting poor people the internet as if they don't have unlimited data plans on their phone right now. The audit examined Commerce's management of the Digital Navigator program between 2021 and 2025, a digital equity initiative that distributed more than $92 million to nonprofit organizations, tribes, and other partners tasked with helping underserved communities access and navigate the internet. According to State Auditor Pat McCarthy, the breakdown was so extensive that they went beyond routine internal control failures. Quote, "In my view, this report details failures at the management of this program so pervasive they go beyond a lack of basic internal controls. There is no excuse for the myriad actions taken at the time by management of the Department of Commerce, who were tasked with overseeing $92.5 million in public funds for the Digital Navigator program alone. Why do you deserve more of our money? Why do you deserve more of our money when your own state auditor shows you could even buy people unlimited cell phone plans or get them Starlink? You blew $92 million and you don't even know where it went. Contracts governing the program were found to be vague and incomplete. They lack clear descriptions of responsibilities, deliverables, timelines, and compliance requirements, even though the program relied on a complex consortium model in which lead organizations were supposed to oversee dozens of sub-grantees. Auditors concluded that the lack of specificity made it difficult, sometimes impossible, to determine what grantees were required to deliver in exchange for public funds. Despite the program's stated goals of improving digital access and literacy, Commerce did not effectively track whether grantees were achieving meaningful outcomes. While some data on activities was collected, auditors found that it focused largely on counts of interactions rather than whether services actually improved participants' ability to access online resources, employment services, education, or healthcare. Inconsistent data collection, missing reports, lack of validation further undermined oversight. In some cases, guarantees stopped submitting data altogether, while Commerce failed to follow up or enforce reporting requirements. As a result, auditors said the agency could not demonstrate whether the program benefited the populations it was designed to serve. $92 million. When I'm balancing my checkbook at home through my online apps, if there's $92 I don't know about where it went, I start asking my wife. I start asking my kids. I start checking every piece of paper I have. You lose $92 million? Whoops. Our bad. Sorry. Couldn't do anything about it. Whoopsie. We'll do better next time. But yet you ask Nick Brown or Bob Ferguson or Katie Wilson or Lori Jenkins. Hey, can we investigate that fraud? Can we investigate what's going on here? Nothing to see here. You're racist for even asking. You hate Somalians. You hate them. You're a huge racist. You think it's just the Parks Department? We know the Department of Children, Youth, and Family Services at $500 million. They don't know where that went. $2 million they know was overspent in fraudulent type things. But there's no fraud. Nothing to see here. It's only the organization that gives out money to daycares, which has been under the microscope, but nothing to see here. Nothing at all. It's so bad it goes to the Parks and Rec Department. A recent performance audit has found that King County's Park and Recs division cannot demonstrate whether millions of dollars in public grant funding is being spent as intended, raising new questions about financial oversight in another Washington state government department. The audit conducted by the King County Auditor's Office shows that the park grants program has expanded over the past decade, but that the division's oversight strategies, documentation practices, and performance tracking have not kept pace with that growth. The division now manages a portfolio projected to exceed $100 million between 2026 and 2031, largely funded through the parks levy. Voters renewed in August of 2025, and they don't know where the money's going. The grants, ranging from about $2,000 to more than $2 million, are designed to support nonprofit groups, community partners, tribes, cities, and other public entities, investing in parks, trails, and open spaces and recreation facilities. But auditors say they could not confirm that grantees are using the funds in ways that align with program goals because key documentation and processes are missing or inconsistent. This is a review of nearly 300 grants between 2023 and 2024. And they can't verify them. They don't know where it went. Whoopsie, sorry, our bad. And again, anybody going to jail? Anybody going to jail? What happens at your business when you give in an expense report and you're missing some items on there, but you put in for them anyway? You know what happens. Here, millions of taxpayer dollars gone, lost, wasted. We don't even know what happened to some of it. Whoopsie, and nobody's going to investigate it. Nobody's going to jail. And yet they want more of our money? What happens if you guys make a mistake and lose a whole bunch of money? What happens if there's fraud on your bank account? You have to prove it wasn't you who spent all that stuff. You know the hoops you have to jump through with your credit card company and everything else? It's a nightmare. Government does it. Whoopsie. Whoops. We're not going to investigate it. We're not going to do anything about it. And they want more of our money? How about you guys clean up what you got going on before you even think about asking for more of our money? We all know this is not a millionaire tax. We know this is an income tax. Anybody who calls it a millionaire tax wants it. Anybody who calls it an income tax understands it. Now, I'm going to give you the bill number again, but you call the Washington State Legislature hotline at 1-800-562-6000. That's 1-800-562-6000. And you say no to Senate Bill 6346. You can also go to their website and say no to that. Real easy. Register no for the income tax. I asked yesterday, what is your line? If this isn't your line, what is? Where do you say I'm going to get involved? What you need to do is melt their phone lines. What you need to do is burn down the internet, or break the internet, I guess is the phrase. Break the internet so that they know how many people are saying no to Senate Bill 6346. If you don't remember, just say the income tax, the millionaire tax. Just say that. That's what you're saying. You with me? If you want to make sure that you don't have this thing, you got to step up now and you got to do something about it. You call a legislative hotline, 1-800-562-6000, 1-800-562-6000, and say no to the income tax. The only way you're going to stop this thing is showing how unpopular it is. And to my Democrat listeners out there, I know you don't want this thing either. I know you don't. It's time for you to step up. It's time for you to step up and say no to this insanity. Why should we be paying for abortion pills for college kids? Why should we be paying for trans surgeries for inmates, convicted felons? Why should we be paying for self-service stations for men in art galleries? And why should we be paying for all kinds of fraud in the world? It's insane. It's insane where nobody's investigating any of it at all. When we come back, my friends, lots more to discuss, including the investigations locally into some murders at a high school. If crime is down, how come there ain't crime being down? Give you all details when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KBR. This is according to Politico. Politico is not in my little black book of the right-wing media conspiracy. But listen to how they describe Katie Wilson. This is their words, not mine. The self-described socialist mayor of Seattle, they open the article with that, has responded to President Donald Trump's threat to remove the World Cup matches from her city with an audacious gesture of her own. A mission to find housing for her city's homeless before the first tournament match that kicks off there in June. Hang on. I want to make sure I got this right. Katie Wilson, the socialist who's never had a job before, whose mom dropped her off for the first day of work at Seattle City Hall, whose mom needs to help her fill out the paperwork because she doesn't know her own Social Security number from never having a job before. That Katie Wilson, the one who's living off her parents, is going to solve the homeless crisis by June. Kevin, you want to take bets on this? You want to do an under-over, or it's not even worth it at this point? This is like when they said, we're going to solve homelessness within 10 years. It's been close to 18, and it's only gotten worse.
Yeah, you're asking me if I want to bet on this? Really?
It's Super Bowl season. I just want to bet on everything right now, right? That's what we want to do. Yeah. Do we think she's actually going to achieve any of this? I think that's a big how about no. No way. Especially given the fact that she didn't sweep that homeless encampment in Ballard. She's not sweeping any other homeless encampment. She put it on pause so she could better understand what's going on with the homeless. Okay, Katie, Bobby, let me explain this to you right now, what's going on with the homeless. You know when you have a stray cat, the stray cat comes around, and you give it a little bit of food, and then it comes back in, a little bit more food, and it comes back in, a little bit more food? Okay, now you understand the basic concept. Let's say you have a drug addict, and you say, hey, drug addict, we're going to give you more drugs. We're going to give you needles for your drugs. We're going to give you spending cards. We're going to give you new tents. We're going to give you a free apartment. We're going to give you a cell phone. What do you think happens? What do you think happens? Oh, and do all the drugs you want. We're not going to check up on you. No accountability whatsoever. Now Politico becomes Politico. Mayor Katie Wilson's goal represents the boldest commitment by an American leader to remake the local policy landscape in preparation for the summer soccer extravaganza, distributed across 16 cities in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Quote, the World Cup gives us a pretty aggressive timeline for trying to bring people inside with the support that they need, as opposed to sweeping people to other neighborhoods. Folks who are experiencing homelessness downtown often also have complex challenges related to drug use and mental illness. Good. Okay, you're learning. Oh, puppy's learning. Good puppy. Okay, let me give you a little treat now. So, that's your timeline. Okay, what'd you guys do before all the playoff games for the Seahawks? Because I noticed something because I drive around that area a lot. So what you did was you literally pushed the homeless from Soto into Georgetown and other surrounding areas. You literally did the thing you said you weren't going to do. So here's what she's teeing up. Whichever media outlets are covering the World Cup, which is probably going to be all of them, they're going to come to Seattle and they're going to look around at their hotel area. Look how beautiful it is. Seattle is not this third world hellscape that people like Ari Hoffman say it is. What are they talking about? They're going to go to the stadiums. How beautiful, how nice, and they serve sushi. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it fantastic? And meanwhile, like 3 miles away, you're going to have what you normally have. And the media is going to cooperate, by the way. You're going to see days and days of no bad stories. Meanwhile, Jonathan Cho, Andrea Suarez, me, Brandy, and others are going to be screaming at the top of our lungs, did you not see what just happened last night? You think Katie Wilson is going to solve the homeless crisis? And hang on, we're in February right now. Let's give her the benefit of the whole month. February, March, April, May, June. You think Katie Wilson is going to solve the homeless crisis here in Seattle in the next 6 months? To quote Lucius Fox in The Dark Knight, good luck. I hope she does it. What are the odds of her actually doing it? Now, mind you, everybody's in on this lie that things are getting better in Seattle. The Seattle Police Department released their crime stats saying, oh, look, things are getting better, at the same press conference where they talked about 2 kids getting shot outside of Rainier Beach High School, and when you had more shootings of people in Pioneer Square over the weekend. If crime is going down, how come crime ain't going down? Yeah. They say they're recruiting all these new police officers, net increase of 92. Okay, let's say those numbers are accurate. We have analyzed these numbers before showing they are not, and that there's a whole bunch of retirements on the horizon. Also, what's the quality of the police officers you've gotten? Because we know they have lowered recruitment standards, which has made it much worse. Plus, you're being run by Chief Wiggum over there, who is a bit of a fool. So if things are really getting better, how come they ain't getting better? It's a very, very, very simple question, my friends. Now, do you think things are getting better? Or better yet, let me put this question out to the audience. Do you think that Katie Wilson is going to be successful in solving the homeless crisis in Seattle, the number 3 homeless population in the entire United States, within the next 6 months? Yes or no? 206-421-5757. 206-421-5757. I think there's no way in hell. I think she's just going to do the giant game of whack-a-mole and move them out of the way for a while. They'll make the same deal that Bruce Harrell made with them during the All-Star game and during Taylor Swift. All right, go over there for now. We'll let you come back afterwards, just like we do for the holiday season. That's my guess. Give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Got a fact check here from Paul in North Seattle. He says, it's 2026. They promised to end homelessness 21 years ago. Okay. I don't think it was 21 years ago, but yeah, I think we're up to 18 now. I think that's where it is. Yeah. This one here from the 425, leaving the homeless is like feeding the crows. Feed one and magically several other know about it before long, as you have a whole approach there. That's right. This one here, this is great, from Jeff and Kent. You ready for this one? The Sonics will return before Mayor Katie solves homelessness. I like that one. That may be text of the day right there. Very, very good. We got a whole lot more to discuss as the show continues, my friends. When we come back, the government is reopened. If it ever really shut down, we'll tell you what's in this new spending bill when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Well, President Trump, just a few hours ago, signed the new spending bill to keep the government open and avoiding the larger shutdown, even though we were a bit in a partial shutdown, even though it was like 24 hours or something. I bet you didn't notice it at all. Some people in the military were sending me some interesting emails they were getting from the government about their pay and such. Now, what's actually in this consolidated appropriations bill? Well, here's the president to explain.
The bill officially ends all taxpayer subsidies for radical far-left woke programming on NPR and PBS, or just a waste of money. It slashes nearly $10 billion in wasteful foreign aid spending, giving money to countries that don't need it. They have plenty of money. And we ended that. That was so important, $10 billion. Think of it. It continues the closure of USAID and creates a brand new America First Opportunity Fund for responsibly providing foreign assistance to nations where it actually serves American interests. So we have nations that do help us and it serves our interests, so we have something to help them out with. This bill also cuts funding to abusive and weaponized IRS programs. I was a victim of that too. You probably read that. Did you read that recently, right?
Sure.
I was, I guess, the ultimate victim. That were used to harass American taxpayers. It builds on the Republican rescissions package passed last summer, which saved Americans billions and billions of dollars. It fully funds our military, includes a well-deserved pay raise for all American service members, and makes historic investments in the American shipbuilding industry, which is great. We're really starting to do something incredible with shipbuilding. And I don't know if you saw that the United States of America, for the first time in over 30 years, beat Japan. We love Japan, great country, but their power in steel making, that we produce more steel this year than Japan. Think of that, more steel than Japan, and Japan is a powerhouse at that. And we were pretty much dead when it came to steel. So what do you think of that? To me, when I heard that, we did more than Japan. It continues to fund deportation flights that are removing dangerous illegal aliens from our country. It continues historically successful efforts to reduce crime in our nation's capital.
Now, this is all good stuff. I have not done a deep dive on this bill. What's been my big knock against the Trump administration since they announced Doge? My big knock has been, why hasn't Congress done the Doge rescissions? So I know there are Doge rescissions in here. What are Doge rescissions? I can't say that 3 times fast. What are they? Congress, when it votes for these big spending bills, it's now law. You have to spend the money. As much fun as we had exposing that we're paying for Sesame Street in Iraq and condoms in Uganda or whatever else it is, as much fun as it was exposing all that, until you actually pass a law saying you're not going to spend that money anymore, you can't stop it. Now, I want to see how many of these rescissions, that's taking back the money, that's not spending the money, actually went through. And then I want to do a little math. How much did we spend? Because my other big knock on the Trump administration has always been, you guys spend also, you just spend on Republican priorities. If we're going to be fiscal conservatives, we got to be better about the spending. If the cuts offset the spending and do some reductions, I will be very happy with this. On its surface, it looks very, very good. But I want to see how much we're spending. You can't just cut on one aspect and keep spending on the other if you have this massive, massive debt. If you have this massive deficits, you got to make sure you're cutting across the board. Now, here's something else that the president said was in this.
And finally, I am extremely pleased to announce that this bill includes a newly designated, movie star, Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. So she really loves the children, and she's had a tremendous success. So it's the #1 documentary in 19 years. Can you believe this? What do I get out of it? I get nothing out of it. Now I had a top model, now I have a top movie star. But we have a great first lady. She loves children. and she had a tremendous vote on this. And I want to just say, Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence initiative within the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which will support America's foster youth and provide them critical resources as they age out of the foster care system. And the First Lady loves children, and she's been very much involved with children and helping them out and making them better. That's what she wants to do, wants to help them, and she wants to make them better. And she does a great job of it. She's respected, and her movie got really incredible reviews. She's done it. We're all proud of her, actually. It's amazing. Not easy to do that. Not easy to do it.
Now, I'm not sure if that was a movie review, a love letter to his wife, or describing what it actually was. And we love the president, don't get me wrong, but what it actually is you have this gap, which is when somebody ages out of the foster care system. And oftentimes they're not left with the resources they need because they've been in foster care the whole time. You were very lucky that you had parents. You were very lucky you had parents who looked out for you, or maybe you did it yourself, but sometimes these foster kids in these really horrible foster programs, sometimes even in the good foster programs, what happens when they age out? This is trying to close the gap and spend some money there. And while this is important, very important to try and stop people from becoming criminals, turning to a life of crime, a life of drugs, a life on the streets, you name it, the question is, where did we cut so we could afford to spend the money on something like this? Now, I'm in favor of this, assuming we made the appropriate cuts in order to do this. You got to take care of the less fortunate in society. It's society's responsibility sometimes. But the problem is, can we actually afford it? Can we actually afford it? Now, going to the text line, I asked you guys if you thought Katie Wilson would actually be able to make good on her promise to get rid of all the homeless in Seattle, the number 3 homeless destination in the entire U.S. by the World Cup. Anita, no. James, no way. She'll actually make it worse. Robin Lakewood, no, and it'll cost us billions. Becky and Enumclaw, no, she's in over her head. Randy from Bonnie Lake talking about the crime in Seattle. He says it's getting worse. They say better because they aren't charging the criminals. I like that one. That's pretty good, too. Hey, Ari, there's an alternative Super Bowl halftime show to Bad Bunny. Okay, guys, you know what? I don't know why everybody's so worked up about the halftime show. I have never watched a halftime show. You know why? That's when I go get food, because I'm watching the game. With the Janet Jackson fun, I remember this like it was yesterday. You remember the Janet? Okay, for the youngins here, Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson were on stage, and Justin Timberlake kind of unbuttoned Janet Jackson's shirt, and you saw something on national TV you shouldn't have seen, and people got very mad about it. I remember I was in the other room in the kitchen getting fire poppers. I remember this. I was getting fire poppers when all of a sudden all the women go in there to watch the halftime show, and you hear, whoa, what was that? And all us dudes come running back in the room. What happened? What happened? They're like, we think we just saw boobs on TV. I think we just saw Janet Jackson's boobs on TV.
I'll just say honka honka because I don't know exactly where all of the sound effects are.
Yeah,
here,
but it's there somewhere.
Yeah, it's here somewhere. But yes, honka honka.
I don't think I ever watched a halftime show until they were available for streaming, and then only then I see them when somebody gets mad about them. Oh, we're mad about Rihanna. Oh, we're mad about this. When's the last time anybody liked the halftime show?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's always some pop group that I really don't care about. Like, Maroon 5.
Don't care. Don't care. I mean,
or even when it was crusty, and no offense to everybody out there, but like the Rolling Stones, oh boy.
Wow, the Rolling Stones. That's something new and interesting and fresh. Amazing. Incredible. Yeah. Don't forget, coming up at the 5 o'clock hour, young Zach is going to be joining us from San Francisco with an update on what's going on down there before the big game. And I hear he got some interview with some Seahawks and maybe even Blitz himself. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. When we come back, my friends, William Shatner, one commercial he did, managed to have more views than the new woke Star Trek. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. I have made no secret that I really dislike the new Star Trek. I don't dislike it because it's woke, which it is, and it checks every single intersectional box. I dislike it because it's a teen thing. It might as well be called Stardate 90210. That would be a more fitting thing for it. I don't like it. It's not great. But Not the Bee, which is the Babylon Bee's real news site, was pointing out that William Shatner, Captain Kirk himself, his new commercial about Raisin Bran being good for you because it keeps things moving in your gut. Shall we just say, without getting too graphic about this, lots of fiber. That's right, fiber like no one has before. So, it's got lots of fiber. This new commercial by William Shatner has more views than the new Star Trek TV show. Give a listen to the commercial.
Will Shadd here, bringing fiber to the masses with Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Duty calls.
Will Shadd?
Every darn day.
Whoa.
Bye. Will Shadd in the house.
Wait, Will Shadd where?
Never mind, it's fiber time. Is that dog a Shih Tzu? Perfect.
Will Shadd on the car! Oh!
You're too low for this, Shad.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
High fiber, happy gut.
We can run that because the FCC let it run on TV. So we're okay with that. But the puns are amazing. That thing had...
And that's his name. I mean,
That's his name. What are you supposed to do about it? This is the same guy who hated when you used to make fun of his name like that. I mean, what, did he rail on Howard Stern and a few other things like that about it? Yeah, not happy.
It's the dog's name, too. What
Yeah,
are you gonna do?
it's the dog's name. It's not us, right? But the thing you must be thinking about here is that, well, wait a second. The new Star Trek must have a lot of viewers, must have a lot of people checking it out to go where lots of people have gone before. The premiere of the new Star Trek show, meanwhile, only had 1,300 live viewers on YouTube and was eventually pulled after only 218,000 views in 9 days with 8,000 likes and 27,000 dislikes. Now, all they are measuring here is the commercial on YouTube versus the Star Trek on YouTube. Now, the views itself on Paramount are not great. They're just not great at all. And what that actually means is they got an estimated 2.1 million viewers for the first week of the first two episodes combined, and it's been dropping ever since. I don't think Paramount has released it. This is just the YouTube numbers. So I wonder if it's going to be renewed for another season, or like that Star Trek show, is it just going to go bye-bye? We go to the Warrior Injury Law studio line, take a call from Paul in Bonnie Lake. Paul, what's going on?
Harry, it's a great day, and thank you for taking my call. I'm calling in regarding the bill that was just signed, and you made a comment. Across-the-board cuts, we do not cut War Department. We learned that lesson the hard way in the 70s.
Well, I'm not saying we should cut the War Department. I'm saying we should cut waste, fraud, and abuse in the War Department. What I was saying was that all the DOJ cuts, and the DOJ identified plenty of places where there could be cuts, including in the War Department. Back then it was called the State Department, or excuse me, the Department of Defense. They identified plenty of waste we had in there. So I'm fine if you want to build a new aircraft carrier as long as you cut the waste, fraud, and abuse. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. When we come back, my friends, more of your calls, more of your texts, plus more reaction to the massive income tax the Democrats are going to hit us with in Olympia. Tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, call or text the Warrior Injury Law Studio line at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up this hour, more layoffs hit the Seattle tech sector. And there's a bill to stop cities from clearing the homeless. But before we get to any of that, the Democrats have unveiled their income tax. And I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. Anybody who calls it a millionaire's tax wants it. Anybody who calls it an income tax understands it. And nobody understands this better than the GOP chair and Representative Jim Walsh, who joins us now on the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Representative, welcome back to the show.
Good to talk to you, Ari. Yeah, well, today we saw this monster finally unveiled. The governor, working through his minions in the state Senate, has released their state income tax proposal. This morning, when it was announced and the governor faced the media, he engaged in some performative politics where he pretended to have problems with the bill he drafted, which creates a state income tax. So they already know that this is a messed up, poorly drafted, poorly conceived proposal, and they're already trying to play a shell game with who supports it and how much. It's a state income tax. It's 9.9% of whatever your household income is. It runs against the state constitution. It runs against existing state statutory law, and it runs against the best traditions of the state of Washington. It's a mess, Ari.
It's an absolute mess. And also, we should never listen to anything the governor says, because it's the same guy who last year got on the floor during his inauguration speech and said he didn't want to just tax his way out of this, and then signed the largest tax increase in Washington state history. So he really has no credit whatsoever for us to believe a word he says when he says, oh, well, I'm not happy with this, especially as you point out, when it's his proposal.
Ari, I was reprimanded earlier today for referring to this as a sleazy process. So I want to point out I am not calling this a sleazy introduction of a state income tax.
Well, hang on a second. I know you're not calling it sleazy. I'm going to call it sleazy. This is a very, very sleazy process that the governor is engaged on. In fact, it's so sleazy, it's kind of like the turd that William Shatner was just talking about a while ago. Kind of goes with that. And since I know they listen to your interviews and they listen to my show, you can quote me on that. Reprimand me. You guys already took away my press pass. Continue, Representative. Sorry to interrupt you.
They just unloosed you, Ari, by not giving you a press pass. They let you
just like that Raisin Bran loosens things up. Yes, continue.
So let's break it down. It's not a new idea. The far left in this state and Olympia and the legislature has been pining, been begging for a state income tax for decades. As I said, the weight of the constitutional language, and remember that's Article 7 of the state constitution, and let me say, I like our state constitution, Ari, and one of the reasons I like it is it has constitutional language about tax policies. Some states' constitutions don't. Ours does. And in the Constitution, in Article 7, the critical language says a tax like this has to be uniform. If you're going to have it, it has to apply evenly and flatly to all people. That is fair. That's equity. That's good tax policy. Tax should not be directed at certain Washingtonians and not others. And all of the governor's rhetoric, around this state income tax pits certain Washington families against other Washington families. And that's bad. Tax policy ought to be as flat as possible and fairly fall on all people as evenly as possible. And one of the defenses that the governor and the far left make of this badly written tax proposal is it's supposed to be progressive. It makes things harder on rich people and easier on less rich people. DNA, Ari, sort of divides people. The genius of our state's constitutional language on taxes is everybody should pay as much as possible the same percent of whatever the tax is, whether it's on property or on income or on sales of things. Everybody ought to pay the same percentage so they have the same voice in government. They have the same right as a citizen to speak what they want out of their government. So it's one of the ironies of life that the left in Washington is always complaining about how they want progressive taxation, but the plans they come up with are always regressive.
Yeah.
And the governor's trying to carry this fake talking point on by saying this was the fake thing this morning about how he has issues. He can't support his own tax proposal as drafted because he wants more money going to working families. Well, dude, if you want to help working families, stop taxing them altogether. Let's just cut the carbon tax so gas and diesel is cheaper. Let's cut property taxes. That's what I hear the most from real people about, Ari. It's property taxes. They're too high in our state. Let's work on that stuff. Let's not create a new tax to try to help people with their taxes. It's goofy.
Yeah, and also they say, oh, well, we might get rid of those other taxes. Yeah, if anybody believes that, I've got 2 broken down ferries I'll sell you really, really cheap that are sitting in dry dock right now that need some repairs. In fact, if you act now, I'll sell you a bridge that's going to crumble to be named later. We can do all that deal right now. I got a representative on the phone line with me right now. We can make that deal happen. We can make it legal. If Democrats can do insane things, we can do insane things. Now, Representative Walsh.
But we don't have to be insane, Ari. We can be sane.
Yeah.
We can be common sense. The cost of living is too high in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Creating a new tax doesn't solve that. If we want to solve the cost of living being too high, let's get rid of the carbon tax and knock almost $1 a gallon off the cost of gas and diesel. It'll also make groceries cheaper because they get carried to grocery stores by trucks. Let's give people a break on their property tax so they can afford to stay in their homes. Let's do the real things that will make the cost of living less, at least keep it level, instead of all this crazy convoluted tax stuff where we're going to tax you more to give some of your tax back to you. And don't believe the governor's rhetoric for a minute. This state income tax will fall on everyone. It will not fall on millionaires. It will fall on everyone because he's counting on to ram this thing through Olympia and then go to the state Supreme Court, where the state Supreme Court will very likely tell him, because of Article 7, you can't put this on everybody. You can't put this only on somebody. You've got to put it on everybody. I think he's counting on that, and then he gets to blame the state Supreme Court and say, oh, well, shucks, guys. The court says I've got to put it on everybody, so here we are.
Right.
And that's also, Ari, why there's so many judges quitting the state Supreme Court right now. Have you noticed that?
Yep.
In the last week, 3 judges have quit the state Supreme Court because they see this, I don't want to say sleazy, Ari, they see this deal coming.
Yep, 100% right. They see it coming. They don't want to be tagged with it. So if the governor is relying on that, is that why he put the date of 2029 when this thing finally goes into effect? We know he made it an emergency clause, so that way we couldn't do a referendum process. Give us a little inside baseball on the strategy here, please.
Well, I mean, obviously he thinks that by putting it after what he hopes will be his reelection as governor to take full effect, that he's insulating himself. I mean, I don't want to say sleazy, Ari. The self-interest of this proposal is striking even for the current governor. But that's one of the flaws with it, Ari, is some of his own supporters in the legislature don't like that it takes that long for the state income tax to take full effect. They want some kind of tax that'll generate more dollars sooner for state government. So there may be the ability to maybe put a little crack in their foundation there because the real tax and spenders want more money faster than 2029. But the governor knows that in order to get reelected, he needs to kick the can as far down the road as he can while still putting this into law. So the combination of letting it ramp up for several years to full effect, plus claiming it's an emergency, so it has to go into effect immediately, therefore there can't be a referendum filed against it, is intellectually dishonest. I mean, both can't be true. If you can wait till 2029 for the bad idea to take effect, you don't need to declare an emergency so that people can't run a referendum to overturn it, because, Ari, they will. The people of the state have voted repeatedly against state income taxes, and this, I don't want to call it sleazy, Ari, this scheme is exactly the kind of thing they've repeatedly voted no on.
I want to hear more about this sleazy business. Who reprimanded you? I didn't hear about this. I've been in show prep all day. What happened today? I missed all this fun.
My first official legislative response to this state income tax proposal from the state Senate included the word sleazy, and I was asked to remove that from my official statement.
Ah, okay. So I'll just make sure that we have the transcript of this interview so we can make sure that that's up there. So that way I said the word sleazy a bunch of times and not you. So that way you're in the clear. Does that work?
Yes, Ari, that would be lovely. Thank you.
No problem.
But really, I mean, everybody, this is serious stuff. It is a bad proposal. It's badly written. I believe it is designed for the courts to say it's got to apply to everybody. The other option the courts would have is to overturn 80 years of their own precedents and call a state income tax something other than a state income tax. This is kind of the trick they played with the state capital gains tax. There's a chance they would do that too. But again, that's the reason why you're seeing all these judges quit the state Supreme Court, is they don't want to be part of this business of, in a heavily political way that isn't good law, supporting this governor who's just crazy from taxing people. And I think it's telling. And these judges who are quitting the state Supreme Court, they're not conservatives. They're progressive liberals. And they're quitting because they know that the state Supreme Court, one way or the other, is going to have to make a ruling on this bad, unconstitutional, illegal bill in order to keep it alive. And they don't want to do that. And frankly, I admire that. I mean, they're quitting because they don't want to have to write a bad opinion about an unconstitutional tax scheme.
Insane. Absolutely insane. Representative Walsh, just before we let you go, first of all, I want to do this. I want to remind everybody, you call 1-800-562-6000. You say no to the income tax. It's Bill 6346. But also you can find it on leg.wa.gov. You can find it over there, and you can register con there. Before we let you go, there's a lot happening in Olympia today, and as I understand it, there's a hearing. There's a hearing on 2 initiatives going on. There was a rally on the initiatives. Tell us about that before we let you go.
Sure. The 2 initiatives that qualified to go to the legislature as bills are the initiative to protect girls' sports. That means no boys playing in girls' sports in Washington State, and to restore the Parents' Bill of Rights that was gutted by far-left legislators recently. So those 2 initiatives are live. They're in front of the legislature now. The state speaker, the speaker here in Olympia, Speaker of the House, has refused to have a proper hearing on these 2 initiatives, which is the tradition of the legislature. So what we're doing tonight is we're having what we're calling a listening session, which is not a hearing, a committee hearing as called by the speaker, but is a sort of private activity, private event scheduled by some of us legislators, where we will create a hearing-like atmosphere where people can testify about the 2 initiatives. These 2 initiatives, one way or the other, are going to end up on the ballot this November. So we will have the chance this November to exercise our constitutional right to initiative, public policy and law made by the people. We'll have the chance to vote on them this November, to vote to keep girls' sports for girls and to restore the Parents' Bill of Rights. These are 2 good policies. They're 2 good proposals. And the Speaker of the House here in Olympia should have given them at least a proper hearing. And if she won't do that, we'll do it ourselves.
Absolutely. Now, by the way, just before we let you go, I want you to hear this. People on the text line are asking if they can say the word sleazy when they call to say no to the bill. And I say absolutely. So you should say no to the sleazy House Bill 6346. Say no to the Senate Bill 6346. Say no to this thing.
Senate bill, right?
Senate bill. Oh, I was right the first time. I shouldn't second guess myself. I'm always right. So say no to Senate Bill 6346 at 1-800-562-6000. Say no to the sleazy Senate Bill 6346 at 1-800-562-6000. Chairman of the GOP, Representative Jim Walsh, thank you so much for being with us today. Really do appreciate it.
Great to talk to you, Ari. Everybody, flood those lines. No to a state income tax.
I completely agree. I'm going to take a screenshot of the text line and send it over to you. You're going to love this, the amount of sleazies I'm getting on here. All right, Representative Walsh, really do appreciate you being part of the show. Yeah, guys, 1-800-562-6000. That's 1-800-562-6000. Say no to sleazy Senate Bill 6346. That's the income tax. If you can't remember the bill number, just say the sleazy income tax. The sleazy income tax. Say no unless you want to have problems with it later. Just remember that one. Oh, here's the one. This one from John in Auburn. Ari, the new income tax needs to be called the fiber tax. There will be a lot of moving after it goes into effect. Oh, very good, John. Very, very good. This one here from Bob in the 509. There you go. Ari, can't express the joy I'd experience if an Oklahoma syndicate made an undeniable offer to the Seahawks, Mariners, and Kraken as a package deal. Seattle could keep the women's pro sports for their woke effect if they can define what a woman is. Oh, that's good, too. I like all of this. This is all good stuff. We go to the Warrior Injury Law studio line. Take a call from our frenemy, Bennett, the protester. Bennett, sorry we had you on hold for a while there, buddy. Had a guest. What's going on?
That's all right. I mean, speaking of sleazy, listening to Trump going like, oh my God, this movie is getting such incredible review. I pulled over. I had to look that up. It's like 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what I mean, it would have been fine if he just gotten up and said, I like the movie. I'm very proud of my wife. Why does he make this stuff? It's like he's not even trying to lie to fool people. I think he's just trying to get people numb to just getting garbage misinformation so like people don't notice anymore.
I haven't seen the documentary yet. Personally, I plan on seeing it just out of curiosity. Look, I saw the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary, so I'm going to check this one out too. What's on your mind today? You said you had something about the Kanye West.
Well, I was not expecting this show of all places to name check Kanye West's Gold Digger. I mean, I know you mentioned you're not a fan, but you couldn't avoid hearing it for a while. So I promise you what I'm about to tell you is a true story. So to catch people up, I mean, there was a thing where I donated a piece of my liver to the baby at the New York hospital, and you've interviewed me about being on the
beautiful.
Thank you. And you've interviewed me about being on the World Transplant Games team for Team USA for people who are organ donors or live organ donors and organ recipients. So there was a point where, okay, I know you know the original chorus of this song. I'm not going to say the original chorus on the radio. I know we can't do that.
Can't do that.
No, I know. I mean, despite what the stuff you're quoting William Shatner saying, that is not the final frontier of what you're allowed to say on the radio.
That is correct.
That is worse.
That is correct.
We're not going to. What we're actually going to say is cringier, but it is allowed on the radio. I promise. Now, so the interviewer lady from CNN interviewing me about being on the transplant team, very warm thing. Everyone just sort of beaming with goodwill at each other. And we did not fix this. We didn't set it up or anything. She asked me, "Do you have a fight song that you use to get pumped up or something?" And I didn't come up with this on the spot, but I did actually say this to her. I was like, yeah, I have this sort of Kanye-inspired song. It goes, he gave an organ, I'm saying he a life giver that someone needs. He'd be open with the broke livers.
Bennett.
The interviewer lady, who happened to be black, she just sort of looked at me like, the broke livers. Okay. And I'm like, whoa,
careful,
love, man,
careful, Bennett, careful.
Excuse me.
I would say this, Bennett. Stick to making.
Word. I didn't say that you could say that.
Stick to making the signs because your rap is about as good as mine. But I appreciate the humor. I really, really do.
As I've suggested before, there is AI that can help you out.
There is AI. Yeah, Bennett. If you want to do this, young Zach is really good at it. By the way, he can make your rap for you if you send him the words. He's down dealing with football stuff right now. But when he gets back, reach out and see if he can do it for you.
All right. Well, apparently that went down like a salt and vinegar potato chip, but I'm going to keep working on these rhymes.
Bennett, appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757.
By the way, Melania on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Okay? 5% tomato meter right
Uh-huh.
now. 99% popcorn meter or whatever.
So that means the audience likes it and the critics don't? Is it one of those kind? Is that what's happening here? Or is it nobody's actually seen this movie and everybody's just hating on it to hate on it or liking it to like on it? Is that what's going on?
I would guess that, like, I mean, what a swing. 5% and 99%.
So
like,
clearly
what?
people are messing with the ratings.
Yeah,
Look, I will tell you what. I will see the Melania movie. I will go check out the Melania movie. I will tell you if it's the very best or the worst. I will tell you which way the Melania movie goes. Personally, I think it's the greatest movie ever made. Look, I finally saw that Sound of Freedom movie, and the first 40 minutes of that movie are intense. It's a fine movie. It's a terrible movie, but it's a fine movie. Do I think it's the greatest movie ever made? No, I don't. But you know what? I'll check it. I'm fascinated with this kind of stuff. I will check out the documentary. When we come back, my friends, more of your calls, more of your texts, more of your emails, plus also more layoffs hit the Seattle tech area. Tell you all about it and what that means for this tax when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Just a reminder, I am inviting you to join me for a steak dinner and to watch the State of the Union at our Steak of the Union on February 24th at Daniel's Broiler out in Bellevue. That's right, my friends. You get steak, you get an appetizer, you get salad, you get dessert. I hear there's a bar, too, which will make for a way more fun enjoyment of a live Ari Hoffman Show broadcast and the Steak of the Union, watching the State of the Union. So, my friends, head on over to KVI.com. Sign up right now because this event will sell out. I saw a whole bunch more tickets sold last night, so make sure you get over to KVI.com right now. Register for Steak of the Union, and you can say you have tickets when I announce our special guests and go, oh, I should have done that. Like the people who are going to get sold out. Go to KVI.com right now. Click on the event section. Register for the Steak of the Union. We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from Guard in Eastern Oregon. Guard, what's going on, man?
Hey, me and my wife just got back from the Milani movie, and yeah, it was good.
It was good. You liked it. Okay, see, I like that listeners are listening to the show on the way home and can give us live feedback on the things we're discussing on the show. Okay, so it's just like the few days before the inauguration. It's not her whole life story, right?
Yeah, roger that. It's a few days and during the inauguration.
Gotcha.
And, yeah, it's a good story. And I never thought I'd say this, but I got a whole new respect for people who design clothing and make it, because, you know, they're talking about 1/4 inch, 8 inch, that kind of stuff. And it's like, wow, that's something else.
I don't do the math, so I'm going to be impressed just with the math alone. I will tell you that. But, yeah, I think I'll take my wife this weekend, and we will go see the Melania movie. I don't think we got a press screening invite for that one. I don't think I saw that one. But, Guard, I appreciate the feedback. I really, really do. So you would say, should you go see it if you don't like the president?
Don't see it if what?
Should you go see it if you don't like President Trump or Melania Trump?
Nah.
I love the candor. I love the candor. So what you're saying is that critic score, because so many of these people are in media, it might be deserved. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's a fans movie, you know?
Oh, okay. Don't go see the Star Trek movie if you don't like Star Trek, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, if you like Star Trek, I wouldn't go see that movie because it's all work and stuff, you know?
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. Guard, appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from Paul in Tacoma. Paul, what's up, man? Hello, Paul. Going once. Going twice. Sold, Paul. If you actually want to call us, be back part on the show, you give us a call back, and we're happy to have you. So call us back at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Well, yesterday was Groundhog Day, my friends. And fear not, because Senator Maria Cantwell came out of her cave with proof of life, and we know she's going to complain about something because she must be running for election very, very soon. What's she mad about? She is mad that Republicans want to make sure our voting system is accurate. They want to make sure our voting system is up to date. They want to make sure we have actual people registered to vote, not illegal aliens. They want to check on all this. So she is very, very mad, very, very cross about it. One little teensy tiny problem. The majority of Americans actually believe in making sure that your vote counts, that we have legitimate citizens voting. That means they agree with Nicki Minaj. Don't take my word for it. Let's hear what CNN had to say. This is CNN.
And the American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here? So take a look here. Favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
Photo ID to be able to vote. It's that simple, guys. I don't know what the problem is here. Photo ID. You need it to do everything else, including go to the Democrat convention. You need it literally for everything else. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line where Paul has resurfaced. Paul, what's going on, man? Paul, are you there? There he is.
Can you hear me?
There, I got you, Paul. What's up, man?
I was screaming at you. Hey, I just came back from Olympia at the rally.
Yeah.
And it was well done, very well done. And the gal that put it on, blonde gal, she's some kind of a radio or has her own program in the media. Do you know who
Brandy.
that is?
Probably Brandy. Yeah.
Could be, but she was but the biggest thing I was really impressed with is didn't realize all the LBG and gay groups that are supporting this.
Oh yeah.
There's a larger component, and we had some very awesome speakers from that group, and it was kind of a joke that she was saying that lesbians are going to save the world, and I want to tell Brandy I'll save her from a lesbian if she's since I'm single and. Even though I'm 70.
She's married, my friend. She is married. But I will tell you this, is that I am getting a lot of texts from people who are at the rally, and I'm glad so many people went. We've been talking about it for a while. I'm glad so many people went. There was a pre-event last night, which I'm glad I got to be at because I couldn't be there today because of the show. But I'm glad so many people turned out. In your estimation, Paul, how many people do you think were down there?
Oh, it was at least 200 plus. It was better attended than the original rally that we had back in when was the Six Initiatives.
Gotcha.
Was well attended.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teachers spoke out, and one union even. I was shocked, because I hate the teachers union. I wish they'd have a hunting license for teacher union people, but
oh, be nice. We can't do that. You're going to get me in trouble with the FCC today, man. All right, Paul. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show? Give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. When we come back, my friends, the latest legislation that is going to try to prevent sweeping homeless encampments. Jared Neuenhouse from the Bellevue City Council will be stopping by to tell us all about it. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Insanity happening out in Olympia right now. It's hard to keep track of all the different bills that are there. Usually on our show, we're known for demonizing the homeless. I mean, trying to help the homeless and trying to help kids. But unfortunately, now we got to deal with income taxes. And then the legislature wants to reduce penalties for sex offenders. It's hard to keep track of all of it, which is how House Bill 2489 kind of slipped my notice. I didn't even realize it was going on. Luckily for me, we have people like our friend, Bellevue City Council member, I almost said Seattle on autopilot there, Bellevue City Council member Jared Neuenhaus, who wrote a great op-ed for the Center Square discussing what's going on. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, Ari. Thanks for having me on.
Such a pleasure. We love having you. You're not just one of our favorite politicians. You also happen to be a personal friend. And when you bring attention to something, I know it's really, really important. So tell us what this bill does and why it's a problem.
Well, unfortunately, it's another state mandate. And this one, although well-intentioned, it's misguided. House Bill 2489 would severely limit local government's ability to address unsafe or dangerous homeless encampments. So they want to create a statewide standard for when local governments may enforce laws regulating the use of public space for what they term as quote-unquote life-sustaining activities, but that means camping. So unfortunately, those in Olympia and those that sponsored this bill think that municipalities which have no camping ordinances, like the city of Bellevue, are criminalizing the homeless unless they can demonstrate that adequate alternative shelter is available at the very moment that the outreach of the first responders make contact. But unfortunately, the requirements for what they deem as adequate are so beyond the pale and so narrowly defined that it would never, ever make us be able to enforce our no camping ordinance. And this is after we have spent millions of dollars establishing shelters and other facilities to address any issue that an individual might be having in terms of homelessness or in terms of addiction or mental health, et cetera. But we're not able to enforce our no camping ordinance if this bill goes through. And let me just give you a hint of how narrowly defined this is in terms of what is adequate. It must meet, first of all, we cannot have any requirement for the individual to be sober or that they must participate in any services like for drug addiction or mental health services. And then on top of that, it needs to meet every one of the individual's requirements. Every one. If one of them doesn't, then we're not able to remove them or remove that encampment. And the list is very long, but just some of the highlights: it must meet their gender identity needs. It must meet their family status needs. They must be able to stay with their partner. They must be able to stay with their pet. We must be able to accommodate all of their personal belongings. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Plus, it's got to meet their transportation needs.
This is insane. So let me just break this down for the audience so they understand. So if there is a homeless guy who has a shopping cart that was clearly stolen from Safeway, they now consider that his personal possession. So he has to be able to bring that into the shelter with him at minimum. Is that what we're saying here?
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Now, in addition to that, a person who is living on the streets should be in no position to care for an animal, a child, or anybody else. But now they're going to say you have to accommodate their dog or cat or iguana or whatever else is coming with them, and their child, who probably should be in Child Protective Services, because we know that a lot of the people on the street are there because of drugs and alcohol, not because of employment status, right?
Correct.
Okay, hang on. We're just going down the list here. Now, in addition to that, I also saw that parts of other companion legislation now want you to have to open low-barrier homeless shelters, which means low barrier to entry, a.k.a. they can do drugs, alcohol, whatever it is on site, which means basically now you are just running a crack house paid for by taxpayer dollars of Bellevue.
Yeah, That's basically right. I don't know if I call it a crack house, Ari, but correct.
Okay, that's my words, just to not put them in your mouth. Ari Hoffman called them a crack house, paid for by taxpayer dollars, not Councilmember Neuenhouse.
Yep.
Okay, this is insane, and it seems like it's taking a massive step backwards. Also, a city like Bellevue, I like going to Bellevue to escape from Seattle. The light rail isn't running yet, so you don't have people being dropped off there from Seattle who are looking for whatever else it is. So is this really just just an effort to kind of take the burden off Seattle and go, now you can go anywhere you want. No problem. Go anywhere and they'll take care of you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's to take the burden off Seattle, but I mean, I think it's this is a statewide mandate. So all cities, and especially smaller cities, I don't know how they would be able to ever accommodate this. So that would mean they would never have any ability to enforce any type of laws in their city as it relates to homelessness or camping. And the cherry on top for this, Ari, which has me very concerned, is that so if any condition is not satisfied, right, then the shelter does not qualify and the city is barred from enforcing our camping. Now, if a city enforces that camping ban, right, without meeting the bill's strict shelter requirements, then that affected individual can sue the city. They can file a lawsuit, they can seek damages, seek attorneys' fees, etc.
That's
and
insane.
believe me, that will happen.
That's absolutely insane.
So this exposes cities to ongoing litigation risk, especially because the definition of adequate shelter in this case is so extremely narrow.
So in theory, not to bring a whole nother aspect of this in here, somebody who's a criminal illegal alien can claim they're homeless, be living off the taxpayer dollars inside one of these shelters, and then if things aren't up to par by the state standards, they can then sue us using taxpayer dollars from Washington State to go after Bellevue.
Correct.
That's crazy.
That scenario could happen under this bill.
That is absolutely insane. So what are you guys doing to stop this? Because you guys run a pretty tight ship over there in Bellevue, and it seems like the Washington State Legislature is doing everything they can, not just to do this to you, but also to make jobs leave that came to you from Seattle.
Well, this is just not us. I mean, yesterday actually, this bill made it out of committee, out of the Housing Committee, and a lot of mayors and other cities throughout King County, probably throughout the state, are weighing in. Even the police chief of the city of Redmond said that there's just no way this will ever work for our city because we could never meet this adequate shelter definition. And I know that a number of cities have already sent in letters, have gone down to lobby. Those that have sponsored this bill or are currently in favor of this bill. So a lot of cities are waking up to this and they're doing everything they can to either kill this bill or at least try and make it better. But I'm not sure how they would accomplish the latter. But this would literally, again, take all control away from local jurisdictions as it relates to camping in their city.
Absolutely crazy. I think this is going to put a little bit of a problem with Katie Wilson's plan to house all the homeless in Seattle by the World Cup. Something tells me if this goes through, she isn't going to be able to accomplish that, as if that's the only thing standing in her way. Bellevue City Council member Jared Neuenhouse, always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. Thank you so much for shining a spotlight on this very, very bad piece of legislation.
Thanks, Ari. Appreciate the time.
Always a pleasure. We got a whole lot more to discuss as the show continues. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. We have Zach out on assignment down in San Francisco covering the big game. He sent us some clips today. He actually got interviews with some of the Seahawks, and he asked them the most important question he could possibly ask. Do they prefer Dick's Drive-In or In-N-Out Burger? He got answers in order. You're going to hear from Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, Gray Zabel, Jerron Reed, and JSN, my friends. Give a listen.
Hey, Sam, who's got the better burger, Dick's or In-N-Out?
In-N-Out.
Hey, quick Seattle question. Who's got the better burger, the Rams and the Niners with In-N-Out or hometown, Seattle Dick's?
Oh, I'm over In-N-Out. The burger's phenomenal, but the animal fries thing that everybody, raves about, I don't like soggy fries. Why are we, soaking our fries and things? So I'm gonna go up north with Dick's.
All right, thanks, Drew. Being down here makes me wonder, In-N-Out or Dick's?
In-N-Out for sure.
Oh, what team do you play for, man?
Play for the Seahawks. Proudly say In-N-Out. Animal style too. It's unbelievable. It's good stuff.
Being down here, I got to know who's got the better burger, 49ers with In-N-Out or, the Seahawks with Dick's?
Man, come on, Dick's Burgers, man. Shout out to Seattle.
You got to teach Gray some stuff because he said In-N-Out.
No, what? Horrible.
Dick's or In-N-Out? There's a right answer.
Yeah, I'll go.
Don't let Seattle down.
Yeah, I'll go with Dick's. That's a good burger.
So, what do you prefer, Dick's or In-N-Out? Text us at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Unfortunately, his conversation with Blitz was not as exciting.
Hey, Blitz, any comment for the radio? How'd you get your start? Are you excited for the game? What's your pregame routine? Thank you, Blitz. Very insightful.
Your Seahawks mascot, everybody, Blitz. That's right.
You know what I find funny, though?
Yeah.
I think it was Drew Lock who said that he doesn't like soggy fries. And,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, Dick's fries have nothing on them, and they are very soggy.
I don't understand how that's even possible. But, yeah, let us know what you think, guys. Dick's or In-N-Out Burger, 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. When we come back, my friends, a live report from Zach down in California. Plus, also, teachers are working with the activists to indoctrinate your kids against ICE. We'll tell you all about it when we come back, plus your calls. You're listening to The Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, call or text the Warrior Injury Law Studio line at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up this hour, teachers are working with activists to indoctrinate your children against ICE. But before we get to any of that, my friends, over on the Warrior Injury Law Studio line, looks like overwhelmingly the Seattle folk prefer dicks, but some of you have filthy minds, and I cannot read your texts on air. So keep it clean, people. Funny, but keep it clean. Some of you, who wrote Jack in the Box? I didn't ask. That is not part of the equation here. I said, do you prefer Dick's Drive-In or In-N-Out Burger? Overwhelmingly, we're getting Dick's Drive-In. I think that's the Seattle loyalty. I don't know. I have no personal experience with either one. Not in my wheelhouse.
You can't open this up to any burger joint.
No. I said one or the other because otherwise I'll be like, yes, I would like my pastrami burger out at Noah's Ark in Teaneck, New Jersey, which also comes with those real home fries. Oh, there's nothing better in this world than that. It is one of the greatest things ever, ever, ever. Well, speaking of great things, do we have Zach with us? Is he there with down with the big game right now? Zach, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, you think you're the most dangerous show on the radio. I'm doing this from the streets of San Francisco.
Okay. You said yesterday they got all cleaned up and they were hiding the homeless people somewhere.
I was incredibly wrong.
You found where they stashed them?
I just hadn't seen that much of it.
Oh, I see. You found the Georgetown of San Francisco.
I didn't need to go that far. No.
Okay.
I needed to go far enough that I could afford parking, and I found them just fine.
Okay, wait a second. Zach, you don't have any of our radio equipment in the car, right? We don't want you having Seattle snow or San Francisco snow.
No,
problems.
don't worry. It's all on my person right now. So it's fine.
Did you leave a note in the window that said, nothing valuable, please don't break my windows?
No, but I will attach that note to this report.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But you brought up ICE in your tease there.
Yeah.
For what's coming up later in the show, and that was one thing that I wanted to bring up before we get to the fun stuff, because I told you yesterday that I was going to go kind of pop in, check in on a public safety briefing.
Yeah.
And one of the big themes, aside, I want to rank the themes of safety. Number one is just keep everybody safe. Number two, the NFL and all their different agencies that are helping out. I think they said 35 different government agencies, state and federal law enforcement branches helping out to keep everybody safe at the game. Is they're really focused. Their number two priority is human trafficking. That's a big theme. They're running actually banners with airplanes towing the big billboard banners above the city. So that's good. That's a good thing to be focused on and cracking down on. The problem is, when the reporters started asking questions at the press conference, no surprise they wanted to know about ICE.
Yeah.
And again, time and time again, all the different agencies and the representatives made it very clear that ICE would not be in attendance at the game on Sunday. So which is it? Do you want to take care of this issue? Do you want to actually crack down on human trafficking? Or do you just want to say you do? Because it seems like they just want to say they do.
Yeah, because here's the thing, guys. If you want to stop human trafficking, a lot of it is people coming across the border. A lot of it are cartels that move people all over the place. And we know that anytime there's a big sporting event, a big celebrity event, you always have an uptick in human trafficking. It's one of the best times to actually save people from indentured servitude in human trafficking. So which one is it? Did anybody actually answer that question?
No, it's just overwhelmingly, and it wasn't, it's of course from kind of a government agency perspective, so it's not, we don't want them here, we will resist them, it's just they will not be here. That's what they can confirm.
Gotcha, so that's the safety. Any other interesting safety updates on the big game?
Not particularly. That was the one that stood out to me and I thought was just another example of saying you want to combat a problem without actually wanting to combat a problem.
That sounds like the Democrat way. What else is going on down there? Tell us about the fun
stuff.
Well,
let's go to the fun stuff.
Let's go to the fun stuff. You met the Seahawks. We just played your clip.
I met the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And that was very fun. I don't want to weigh in on the burger thing because, it's not what's your favorite burger.
Uh-huh.
It's do the Rams and the Niners have a better burger?
Sure.
Being In-N-Out, being they're kind of local. Or do we have the better burger? And I even made that distinction to Jackson Smith and Jigba that no, I'm not going to bring Whataburger into it. Don't worry, you don't need to betray them.
So this is like at the game when they have the cities stack up and they're like, we have Pike Place Market, we have the Space Needle kind of thing. That's what you're trying to do. I'm with you.
And the food
bring the game to us. I got you.
You know, politicians are a little easier to ask questions at a press conference. The sports stuff this is not my world, and I'm trying to figure it out. So there was usually somebody asking some kind of food question. So that was a great one that I could get in, kind of on top. Hey, one more on that, sort of a thing.
Gotcha. So how'd you meet the Seahawks? Was this a press conference for the Seahawks, or they were walking around? How did it happen?
This was kind of fun. It was a press conference for the Seahawks and the fans. So the fans kind of had ticketed. It was free. A lot of community folks, and that's why yesterday in line, a lot of those people were Seahawks fans that live here. This was kind of one of those things that a lot of people living here are taking part in all the festivities. So. There was fans that got to come in and kind of witness this, and they bring the teams out on a big stage, and then they dismiss the teams to go sit at the podiums like you see on TV every year around this time. And so the big players all get a podium with their name on it, JSN, and Mike McDonald gets his own podium, and of course Sam Darnold, who was unwavering in his support of In-N-Out, by the way. I'll give Gray Zabel a pass. He needs to learn a few things about the city. We'll get him there.
So, Zach, it'd be kind of fun.
I wonder if the connection between JSN and Sam Darnold is as strong as we think it is if they can't agree on
a hamburger.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What mediocre burger do you prefer, if you can't agree on that?
So, I'll ask you this, Zach. There must be, if there's a lot of Seahawks fans down there, just like how we have the Mets bar across from the studio, is there a Seahawks bar down in San Francisco? And it'd be fascinating. You can't be there because you're going to be at the game itself, but it'd be interesting to interview the people in the Seahawks bar surrounding this event.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make it there after. I do believe there's like a designated kind of bar. And then, of course, the fans, I think, will naturally sort themselves out at whichever establishments they want to go hang out in. But, yeah, there's Seahawk fans all over the place. And today they kind of opened up the fan zone, which is you can kind of buy a ticket and go do a whole bunch of activities, meet players. The Pro Bowl is going on, I think, right now. I didn't have access to that, but fans everywhere, all different teams. It's just really a big NFL festival more than anything. But like I said yesterday, it feels good to see buildings all plastered with Niner stuff on the inside and Sam Darnold's face on the outside.
That's fantastic. What are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Oh, man, I have not even gotten that far. No, there's a salute to service event going on tomorrow. I'm going to try to make it to some sort of charitable thing for the Air Force. And the NFL commissioner is going to give some remarks. And so I'll try to make it out to that and see what we can cover for KVI listeners out there tomorrow.
Okay, so if you actually get to speak to the commish, we got to know the real questions. Are the Seahawks for sale? Are they going for sale after the Super Bowl? We need the real stuff there, Zach.
I'm certain no one else will ask that, and I will be the first person he tells.
I know that you will, Zach. Great job reporting on the ground from San Francisco. Young Zach, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
I'll try to make it back to my car now.
All right.
I did park. Hold on, who's around? Okay, right, real quick.
Quiet,
I did park in the. Real quiet. In the. It's the transgender district. It says it on the light posts. And golly, I'll be darned. I could have swore the spots say oversized vehicle, but they feel like they used to be compact spots.
Oh no! You've been working on that one for a while, young Zach.
Since I parked the car this morning.
Young Zach, thank you so much. Hope you're having a great time down there. Really do appreciate it. Just a reminder, by the way, if you want to see young Zach in person, you can be part of our State of the Union event. We're going to be on February 24th at 6 p.m. We're going to be watching the State of the Union at Daniel's Broiler. You get steak, you get appetizers, you get salad, you get dessert, plus a live broadcast of the Ari Hoffman Show with all our friends. We're going to have more announcements on who's going to be joining us. Space is limited. Tickets sell out fast. I know we sold a bunch yesterday. Don't miss out on this. Go sign up at KVI.com. That's KVI.com. We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from John in Redmond. John, what's going on?
Ari, dear man, after you talked to Mr. Neuenhaus, his closing remark was mayors and so on are looking for a way to either kill or improve the bill. My rhetorical question to you is there any way to improve a bill like this?
Let me be 100% fair in this one for a second. Okay, so we're talking about House Bill 2489, which you haven't done so already. You should log on to the legislative website, or you should call the phone number 1-800-562-6000 and say no to House Bill 2489. This is the one that won't let cities sweep homeless encampments. Basically, what it's saying is here's all the requirements with which it's okay to sweep a homeless encampment. Now, the problem is you're saying is that if they don't accept it, you really can't do anything about it, and then they have to stay. That's the biggest problem. Does that clarify things a little bit there, John?
That helps, but I think the entire bill is so onerous, as in your word, that it's ridiculous. These people who are proposing such a thing should remember that local municipalities should have their own ability to tell people to keep on moving.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you, sir. I'm completely agreeing with you. We should kill the bill. So remember, you call up the Washington State Legislature, 1-800-562-6000. That's 1-800-562-6000. And you say no to House Bill 2489. That's no to House Bill 2489. John, great questions. Appreciate you being part of the show.
And those people who don't call are going to regret it.
Well, also, while you're calling, make sure you call and say no to the sleazy Senate bill, which is the income tax, because otherwise we're going to have problems with that as well. John, appreciate the call. Yeah, appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law studio line, take a call from Kevin in Bellevue. Kevin, what's up?
How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm just peachy. What's going on, man?
I'm just peachy. Love it. Okay. So I read a couple posts from the Seattle Police Department. They keep telling us that crime is down, and of course it is. It's the comparison would be if a tree commits a crime in a forest and there's no cop around to see it. Does that make a statistic? So we know there's fewer cops, fewer patrols, fewer stops. So the spreadsheet looks great. It looks amazing, but congratulations when, we fix crime by closing our eyes. Meanwhile, everyone who lives here is playing is this normal or should I call someone who won't show up? Crime didn't go down, in my opinion, Ari. Enforcement did, and the numbers they're having the best year of their lives. How about that?
So I'm going to play devil's advocate slightly and then agree with you the rest of the time, okay? So, number one, the numbers were at their record highs. It was kind of hard for them to go up. Let's do that. They were likely to come down, especially when we reinstituted police pursuits. When crime was at record highs, that's when the Democrats in the Washington State Legislature said no more police pursuits. So, of course, crime is going to go up, especially with things like Grand Theft Auto, people being hit by cars, pursuits, not pursuits, excuse me, but people running away from the cops, all that's going to go up. You are 100% correct. And Mike Solon from the Seattle Police Officers Guild said the exact same thing, is that many people aren't even reporting the crimes anymore. Like, for example, if, God forbid, Zach's car gets broken into while he's in San Francisco, is there any point in calling it in? No, because just like Seattle, just call your insurance company and they're going to replace the glass for you. There's that. Also, the other thing, when they talk about these numbers of recruiting police officers, they are ignoring the looming number of retirements. And they are also ignoring the fact that they lowered their standards to recruit the ones they have. And they still have not replaced. They have to replace, 800 police officers? So if you get 90 a year, great. In 8 years, you still won't have the amount you lost, which was below minimum staffing levels before the exodus actually started. So really, it's all about trying to paint these things in a better light, and people like you can see right through it. Is that about right, Kevin?
Fair enough. Thank you.
No problem. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. Love the conversation. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law studio line. Take a call from Garland in Carnation. Garland, what's up, man?
Dick's Burgers.
I love that you hung on hold. I love that you hung on hold this whole time to say Dick's Burgers and represent the home team. I'm going to make sure that they know about that. That's very good.
And one last question. Did you know about that big truck wreck on I-5 about 5 days ago?
On I-5 5 days ago. Hang on a second.
Going
now, do me a favor. Send me a link to that, arikvi.com. I just sent some stuff off to ICE about another truck wreck, but I think that was like 7 or 8 days ago.
That could have been that long. It was a mess, too.
Wait, the one that hit the snowplow? The one that hit the snowplow or a different one?
This is on the 101 exit and I-5 South.
I don't think it was that one. Do me a favor. If you see anything on that, send it to me, and I'll do what I do and find out who was driving that sucker, okay?
Yeah, because that was a big 3 of them.
Yeah.
Both sides of the roads.
Yep, send it on over to me. ARI@KVI.com. ARI@KVI.com, okay?
I'll see what I can do then. Thank
Good
you.
deal. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to join us and be part of the fun today, give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Got time for one more call, I think. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law studio line. Take a call from Melvin in Federal Way. Melvin, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? First time caller. You mentioned a bill, House Bill, I think it's House Bill 2469, was it House Bill 2489?
2489. 2489, that's the one about not sweeping homeless encampments. That one, 2489.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you calling and clarifying that. That's right, everybody. Remember to call 1-800-562-6000 and say no to House Bill 2489 and also say no to the income tax, the sleazy Senate income tax. Bob Ferguson and Lori Jenkins and sleazy Senator Jamie Peterson's state income tax. Make sure you say no to that one because it is not a millionaire's tax. If you call it a millionaire's tax, you want it. If you call it an income tax, you understand it. Make sure you say no. When we come back, my friends, lots more to discuss as the show continues, including how activists and teachers are colluding to turn your kids into their little stormtroopers in school. We'll tell you all about it. But first, Todd Herman's Daily Thoughtcast right now on The Ari Hoffman Show. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show, my friends. Just a reminder that on February 24th, President Donald Trump will be giving his State of the Union address. And you can join us for Stake of the Union. That's right. After a 5-year hiatus, one of KVI's favorite events is back. Stake of the Union, February 24th, out at Daniel's Broiler Steakhouse. We're going to be doing a live broadcast of the show. We're going to be watching the State of the Union, and you get steak. Nothing better than that. Lots of meat. There'll be other fun stuff, too, plus some of my friends and celebrity guests. So sign up now at KVI.com. Go to KVI.com right now to sign up because we will sell out. This thing has always sold out before. We're bringing it back after a 5-year hiatus. Demand is going to be even more. Make sure you sign up now at KVI.com. That's KVI.com. And our special guest will be announced. And you want to say, oh, my God, now I really want to go. And then find out it's sold out. Also, we got a caller in the last segment during the commercial break who was saying, what's the point of calling the Washington State Legislature? Let me clarify this for everybody just so you understand. They log the calls at the state legislature, and they log the pros and cons that they get on the website. So what happens is they get it and they go, okay, you like this bill, you don't like this bill. That's why I tell you to call. If it's an overwhelming response, we have killed bills before. There was one line in particular where somebody in the legislature texted me and said, Ari, I don't know what you just said on your show, but the phones just went nuts and everybody started calling. So we have done that before. What you got to do is when you do that, they actually log this stuff. Now, for those of you who are skeptical, because Democrats run the legislature, so far, I have not seen any evidence of caller fraud. So far, when we say no to something, there's an overwhelming response that they say no on something. That has happened with the regular. For example, the thing where you had creepy Chris Rakedahl trying to intrude on homeschooling rights. That got killed because there was an overwhelming objection against it. There's other things, like, for example, the bill that Lisa Wellman wanted to do that was going to that was going to hide information on daycares. That got killed because of overwhelming reaction. It can be done. It can be done. Now, my question is, are we seeing another parent uprising? Yesterday, we told you about students in White Center at the Highline School District from Evergreen High School and Cascade Middle School walked out during school to go protest ICE. We saw evidence of them blocking streets in photographs. Now, one dad was so mad, his video has gone viral, of him going to pick up his kid. The problem with this video, I can't play it on air because he drops the F-bomb like every other word, and that wasn't fair to Kevin because it's a 3-minute video of this guy dropping the F-bomb. Now, mind you, I understand how mad he is, and he is 100% right. I just can't play it on air. This dad, hero dad. We had hero mom yesterday who yanked her kid from Olympic Middle School out in the Auburn School District. Now we got hero dad. Just clean up the language, dude, and then I'm more than happy to. You can call into the show. More than happy to have you. 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. And if anybody knows who that hero dad is, email me, ari@kvi.com. That's ari@kvi.com. And I am more than happy to have him on the show and talk about this. But are we seeing another parent uprising? And the parents saying we're not putting up with the same more, we're yanking our kids out. And I'll tell you something I noticed from this dad's video, and I don't know if he noticed this. When he's driving up to the school, there are the bike cops out there. Wait a minute, not from SPD, not from King County Sheriff, not those kind of cops. I mean the Antifa types. Now, they're not dressed in black bloc, but they're the same activists who go out there who are now wearing neon colors like cyclists and using their bicycles to block the street for the children. I don't think they're teachers. I think they are local activists. The teachers are part of this, no matter every single school district saying they had nothing to do with this whatsoever. Don't lie to me. We know you did. We see your teachers outside. Maybe if some effort went to keeping the kids in the building, you wouldn't need the teachers outside if your excuse is you're just there to monitor safety. So I want to know, have you hit your limit? Is this where you've hit your limit with the public schools where you can blatantly see the kids being used as little drones in their anti-ICE efforts? What is your line? What is your red line? Is this it? If it wasn't COVID, and it wasn't the indoctrination, and it wasn't DEI, and it wasn't everything else, the terrible education, is this it? Is this it? Give us a call or a text, 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. You know a story that basically nobody paid attention to except for Fox 13? Do you know on Friday during one of these anti-ICE protests, a whole bunch of students took over the administration building at University of Washington? Yep, took it over again. So this is what happens when University of Washington says, yeah, you know that $1 million of damage you guys caused to our brand new engineering building? It's fine. We'll suspend you for a little while, but you can come back on campus and immediately start giving out Hamas propaganda again, no problem. When there's no consequences, this is what happens. According to Fox 13, on Friday, hundreds of anti-ICE protesters occupied Gerberding Hall at the University of Washington campus in an effort to get the administrators' attention. What is the administration doing? What, you think the UW administration is on ICE's side? Protesters told Fox 13 that Friday's actions were in solidarity to a nationwide anti-ICE movement. Ah, the flavor of the day. These are the people who were just wearing keffiyehs 5 minutes ago. By the way, I'm getting pictures from some of you from the rally in Olympia. I am absolutely loving the ones of the people who are there to support trans rights wearing the keffiyehs. That one cracks me up. They would throw anybody in the LGBTQ movement off the tallest building in Gaza if there were any buildings left. And if there was any Hamasniks left. Oh, there's a few of them around, but actually they're giving up more and more by the day. Oh, how progressive of you. There's no more Hamas. You're still wearing the colors. It's like people who have a sports team that's completely gone. Oh, wait a minute. That hits a little too close to home for some. I'm not comparing you to Hamas. I'm not doing that. Sorry. Not doing that at all. Really
What, the
not.
Seattle Sea Dragons?
Yeah,
How
them.
dare you?
That's what it is. The Sea Dragons. Hey, how come Chris Daniels isn't advocating for the Sea Dragons, huh? I'm just waiting for that report. Are the Sea Dragons coming back? Yeah, put that one on there. So they said the organization told Fox 13 that 4 demands from the university: follow Washington state law, publicly commit to comply with Keep Washington Working Act, and do not share info with ICE or DHS. Are they sharing it right now? You think University of Washington is sharing that information with ICE? Enforce the university's commitment to the highest standards of ethics, release public statements disclosing surveillance technology used on campus, and any plans for a... Really? Really? I want to go back to my original question. You think, I can't believe I'm defending UW here. I really can't. You think University of Washington is working with ICE? Uphold UW's standard of excellence. What standard of excellence? A public service by tangibly supporting students and workers, especially those of vulnerable status, is clearly defined and enforced public and private spaces where ICE cannot. What are we doing here? Is ICE at the University of Washington campus? Protect the safety of migrant workers, faculty, students, and patients in UW hospitals by ensuring ICE cannot enter any UW healthcare facilities. Provide adequate education on how to protect staff and patients from ICE besides notifying administration. You guys did it. You stopped ICE. You guys melted the ice right there. Well done, everybody. Really just well done. Give a mouse a cookie. That's literally what this is. You guys allowed the Antifa and anti-Israel activists to take over a building one time, and they caused $50,000 in damage. The second time, they caused $1 million in damage. And guess what? They're back for more. What, you think it's a coincidence that you let the activists back on campus, that now there's an activist rally and occupation on campus? Gee, why'd you not have it for 9 months, and now you're having it again? Because you banned them from campus. And now you're going to have more of this. What's the next flavor of the month? They going to be mad about the Melania movie? We demand you do not show the Melania movie. We're going to take over the administration bill. What is the next cause? What is the next cause? When we come back, my friends, an exclusive story about a new lawsuit that may be filed against the city of Seattle regarding the deadly autonomous zone. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Just a reminder of our State of the Union event. That's right, my friends. Join Talk Radio 570 KVI on Tuesday, February 24th at 6 p.m. to watch President Trump's State of the Union address while eating a 12-ounce New York steak dinner at Daniel's Broiler in Bellevue. That's right. They said, Ari, you get to choose what kind of steak. And I said, well, we may be in Seattle, but I want a New York steak. So, plus, if you get to come early, you get to enjoy a live broadcast of the Ari Hoffman Show, and you get my live commentary with some friends after the State of the Union. Seating is limited. Get your tickets now. Sign up at kvi.com. That's kvi.com. Now, we have a story you're not going to get anywhere else.
Talk Radio 570 KVI, an Ari Hoffman Show exclusive.
In the aftermath of a landmark jury verdict finding the city of Seattle liable for the 2020 death of 16-year-old Antonio Mays Jr., his family is urging the city to release dozens of police body camera videos that remain sealed from public view. Antonio Mays Jr. was killed in the autonomous zone that sprung up after the death of George Floyd in 2020. A King County jury last week awarded roughly $31.5 million in damages to the Mays family after concluding Seattle was negligent in its emergency response to the June 2020 shooting in the deadly Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. So basically what you're saying is the city shouldn't have turned over the whole place to terrorists? Is that what you're saying? You're saying they shouldn't have given barricades to the BLM and Antifa terrorists and let them take over 6 blocks of the city. That's what you're saying. Just making sure. You're saying you shouldn't have banned police from 6 blocks of Seattle, which resulted in 6 shootings, 2 deaths, all of them black teenagers. Yeah, that was probably a really, really bad idea. You're saying you shouldn't have evacuated the police from the East Precinct, had them abandon the building in an effort to give it over to the community. You're saying giving in to a group of terrorists is a bad idea. And then what you're saying is putting people who have no medical experience whatsoever in charge as medics inside the autonomous zone. Bad idea? You're saying letting BLM and Antifa have armed guards for their 6 blocks. Yeah, autonomous zone, but they were bringing their own barricades from the city of Seattle, and they were bringing hygiene stations from the city of Seattle, water from the city of Seattle. Very, very autonomous when you're relying on the city. You're saying putting armed guards with AR-15s might be a bad idea. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. So what's going on now is there's a whole bunch of videos from the police department, from body camera footage, that we haven't seen yet. There's a whole bunch of body camera footage that we all want to see, but the city hasn't released it yet. So Evan O'Shan, attorney for the Mays family, friend of the show, said we believe the public deserves to see these videos. Transparency serves everyone. It honors Antonio Jr.'s memory. It helps the community understand what happened that night. Antonio Mays Jr. was shot shortly after 3 a.m. on June 29th, 2020, during the final days of the BLM and Antifa armed takeover in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. The occupied area formed after police withdrew from the East Precinct during the nationwide protest that followed the death of George Floyd. The jury found the city negligent for failing to respond effectively. They also found that first responders did not enter the protest zone, leaving bystanders to try and transport the wounded teen themselves. The verdict included $4 million to Mays' family estate, $26 million to his father, Antonio Mays Sr. The family's latest call is aimed at evidence generated during the lawsuit, 116 police body camera videos that the family says were produced under a protective order, designating them for attorneys' eyes only. Under such orders, courts can restrict disclosure of discovery materials while litigation is pending, sometimes to protect sensitive information, privacy interests, or the integrity of related proceedings. The family argues that any legitimate privacy concerns can be addressed through redactions rather than by continuing to seal the videos in full. O'Shan said the question of public release remains before the court and cites a November 2025 order by King County Superior Court Judge Sean O'Donnell directing the city to review the videos, identify any portions it believes should remain sealed, followed by the city motion asking the court to reconsider. According to O'Shan, the body camera footage is not only potential evidence, but also includes public accountability measure after a verdict that faulted the city's conduct during the autonomous zone. Mays, who traveled to Seattle from Southern California, was killed in a shooting towards the end of the occupation when the zone's security opened fire on the vehicle he was in. It took about 24 minutes for Mays to be brought to medics after bystanders attempted to transport him out of the zone. And the family's attorneys argued he might have survived if his airway had been cleared sooner. His family continues to seek justice, accountability, and transparency in his memory. That's what they're going for. Now, at this point, a lot of you are like, well, wait a second. Does this mean they're going to raise our taxes because of it? Well, in this case, I think what's actually going to happen is the city's insurance is going to cover it, but they're going to have trouble getting an insurance provider to continue being their carrier after something like this. This is something where I could see this happening again. Can you imagine if all of a sudden a whole bunch of people in Capitol Hill decide to take over the park up there, Cal Anderson Park? By the way, you think that Katie Wilson would do anything to stop that? Of course not. Katie Wilson would say, oh, let me join you. I'm going to come camp out here with you. We're going to do that. I could see that happening. You hope that something like this, something like a settlement this big, makes them realize how painful it is to do stupid things and put people's lives in danger. This is something we really hope they've learned their lesson on. I'm not sure they actually have. Let me know if you think Seattle's learned its lesson. Give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. John in Auburn says, Ari has become protest anything and everything. Instead of getting a real job, all you need to do is become a professional protester. And by the way, he's not wrong. Look who our mayor is right now. Professional protester, Katie Wilson. What'd she do right after she won the election, gave her victory speech? Went out to Starbucks to protest with the baristas. All the baristas out there. Yes, she wanted to be part of the Ventifada. That's what she wanted to do. Robin Lakewood talking about the hero mom and dad, two different parents, not married, one who pulled her daughter out, one who pulled his son out of school after the anti-ICE protests. He says, did local news cover it? If not, I'd love to know why. Yep, great question. Great question. Also, Rob also brings up the fact that people are not reporting crime to their insurance. That's why it may look like these crime rates are down when in actuality they are not. Only good news to wrap up the show. When we come back, your good news headlines, lots of Seahawks news for you, too. We got that for you, plus a whole lot more to put a smile on your face heading into your evening commute. You're listening to The Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Only good news to wrap up another amazing episode of the Ari Hoffman Show right here on Talk Radio 570 KVI. And an unexpected guest right before we go to our good news. Just because they heard the last segment, we've got attorney Evan O'Shan and his client, Antonio Mays Sr., on the phone with a quick message for us. Gents, what's going on?
So we are asking for transparency and accountability from the city of Seattle. And I'll let Antonio, I'll tell you what it is that we want.
There's a lot of body cam footage, over 100 pieces of police body cam footage that has attorney's eyes only on it. And I feel like it's really getting in the way of some transparency for the community and the city of Seattle. And, you know, just civilians in my situation in particular, as citizens of Washington, Seattle, and the United States, you know, we should have some transparency. And I want the attorney's eyes only released from this body cam footage.
I think the reason they're not giving it over, gents, is because in the background you're going to see everything they allowed during the autonomous zone, and it's not from cell phones. It's from police body camera footage, and that's going to open them up to a whole bunch more lawsuits. But I have your press release. I have your story, and I'm going to send it to some people higher up that may be able to overrule some local stuff here. Okay, guys?
Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate your support.
All right, guys, you take care now. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. Well, let's pivot on over to Seahawks news, my friends. So we got this one right here, which is kind of like a bittersweet story for Kyle Drezen. This, according to Cairo 7, his passion for the Seahawks runs deep, so deep his marital tattoo is a 12 on his ring finger. He said the Seahawks were his first love, said his wife. It's a love and support that has meant more over the last several years as he's battled brain cancer. As the Seahawks made the Super Bowl, he took to social media trying to make his lifelong dream come true, seeing the team play at the Super Bowl. Says seeing the Seahawks in the Super Bowl is on his bucket list. That's what he told Cairo 7. He and Blair took Cairo 7 airwaves last week, calling for the Seahawks to get them to the game. The team had plans to do so, but an anonymous person close to the family swooped in first, gifting them airfare, hotels, and tickets to San Francisco. Quote, being a diehard sports fan, it shows that it's not always about the Sundays or whatever day they're playing. It's about the community, the rivalry, the camaraderie. You can have teams that just can't stand each other, but you can still have that commonality of coming and being together as a community to share a common interest. It's something that's always been there for me. Treatment has been taxing. The diagnosis is a weight to carry on its own. The Seahawks in this season's success have been a savior. He says when you're going through something like this, you need to hold on to the glimmers, the moments of hope. When we got the diagnosis, I wanted to give us something to hold on to hope, to continue pushing forward, to have something in the future that was positive. After their segment aired, people they hadn't heard from years reached out, even fans across the country who they never met. Even Patriots fans were saying, we hope you win the game. We hope your husband gets to go. The Dresdens will fly out on Thursday to soak in the entire fan experience as a member of the 12s. When they get home, it will be Kyle's 12th and final chemotherapy treatment. The fact that there are people out there and organizations out there who take the time to understand how something just as a thought or a prayer can make a big difference for anyone going to my situation. You know what? I'm going to send the story over to Zach while he's down there, see if he can find them. That could make for a really, really great interview. Meanwhile, there's this one about a house divided. According to King 5, Eric and Stephanie Canup kicked off their marriage about 4 months ago, right around the start of the NFL season. Their wedding, held September 20th, 2025, in the picturesque landscape of the Yakima Valley, took the meaning of love for each other and love of the game to a whole new level. Eric is a proud 12 and roots for the Seattle Seahawks. His bride, Stephanie, is a devoted New England Patriots fan. Well, they're not all perfect, right? I mean, there's always something. The Teammates for Life won their favorite NFL jerseys, and now their teams are facing off in the season's biggest game, Super Bowl. You might even say the Canups' nuptials predicted the 2025 season's final matchup. I'm a football nerd, so I love football. Just anything about football, I love it, Eric said. Now their young marriage will face a true test. How will the fan of the winning super team handle bragging rights in the household divided? Quote, one of us is going to be happy, and me as a football fan, I love watching a good game. I love when Seattle beat Denver, but that Seattle-New England game in the Super Bowl, I think, is one of the best Super Bowls that they ever played. It was so competitive. Yeah, we all know who should have won that game, Pete Carroll. Just give the ball to the big guy. We all know. We can all watch this, right? Okay. Stephanie agreed. That was a competitive game right down to the last minute. The Seahawks and the Patriots face off in the Super Bowl on February 8th. The game airs at 3:30 p.m. The couple's wedding was less I do and more first down. Guests arrived in their own team colors, transforming the event into something resembling a tailgate party. and waved pom-poms and tiny foam fingers as the couple made their entrance. The bride carried a football instead of a bouquet, without a bobble or a fumble, and the cake topper featured the couple in their respective team colors, locked in eternal gridiron rivalry. Referee Reverend Christina Van Horn, who offers officiating services in Washington, ensured no one went offsides during the ceremony, said the energy on the field and the feeling of love were unforgettable. It was like a big football game. Everyone was cheering them on. It was so much love, and I'm still smiling every time I talk about it. To stand there and witness the love for each other, for their teams, and for their families, it was really, really beautiful. Stephanie's mother served as the couple's offensive coordinator, offensive coordinator or wedding planner in civilian terms, orchestrating a ceremony that was equal parts heartfelt and delightfully energized. For us, it was a blast. It's not something you get to do every day. It was very special. Having everybody there we know and loved, it was special. Couldn't get any better than that. In fact, the vows themselves were read from a playbook. I kid you not. This is a little extreme. I wanted to get married on the bridge of the Enterprise. My wife said no. We went to Vegas for the Star Trek experience. I said, sweetie, it's not going to mean anything. It's fake, but can we get married on the bridge of the Enterprise? And she goes, how about no? But I will go to the Star Trek experience with you and enjoy it with you. That is a huge give from my wife, who watched one Star Trek movie and said, I am never watching this again with you. You enjoy your fun.
I told you I went there with some friends in my 20s when I was really broke.
Yeah.
And they were like, you want to go? And I was like, I'm not paying money for that. So I waited outside for them to come out.
Yeah. It's actually, if you still go to the, whatever the Hilton is now, if you still go to that hotel, you can still see some Star Trek-y stuff. Well, my friends, that's going to do it for us today. But fear not, my friends, we'll be back tomorrow with more insane stories, more exciting guests, and more reports from young Zach from San Francisco. You've been listening to The Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI.